You're
Okay, fixed.
okay. So, welcome to the Canucks Chatter post game show. Um, big game. We just witnessed. First off, give us a like here on YouTube, Canucks Chatter, a follow. You can also follow us both on Twitter. Our handles are right there. Um, yeah, lots to get into. So the Canucks beat the Nashville Predators game 4 at it was a
Yes,
an
I know.
overtime winner.
Speechless.
Yeah,
I,
speechless. Yeah, it is. It kind of all happened very fast. So yeah, Canucks are down 3-1. Scored two in the final 2.5 minutes with the goalie pulled, and come back, force overtime, get it done quickly in overtime, 4-3 win. What's your immediate reaction right
Smash and
now?
grab, to use a soccer term. Like this
Yeah.
was, they had no business winning that game.
No.
They weren't great, but it's not like they say. It's not how you win; it's whether you win or not. I mean, geez, that pull the goalie, score that 3-2 goal, great pass from Lindholm, and then that third goal where Hughes and Pettersson held onto it, and then the fight by Brock to get that third. That goal,
Yeah.
I lost it. I went nuts. I heard other people around my building were watching as they were screaming too. I was, and then
Yeah.
when Lindholm scored, more screams. It was just, oof, just speechless. I get out of there, get the win,
Yeah.
come back home, boys, and get ready for Game 5.
Yeah, I got some texts for some people that I normally don't get, like hockey texts from. Text me right after the Canucks won in overtime, so that was funny. Um, Man, if you're Colton Sissons right now, you're having nightmares of hitting the post on that empty netter.
Oh,
that's
I thought
that's
I thought I think it was Hughes back there, or whomever played it so terribly by just giving him all the space, and then when he
yeah.
hit
He
the
had so much
post,
space, and then on the
yeah,
backhander, I was like,
they didn't
oh, he
push
hit the
him. I'm
post.
going pressure him,
Yeah,
and
there was
when
no
he hit the
pressure. I don't
post,
know.
it was going okay, perfect. Let's get reset, and get that goal. Whew, that was just
That's tough for Nashville though. Like they like they don't really
oh
have stars in their team, and they kind of try to grind out a win like that, and then the Canucks big guns at the end there, goalie
like it,
pulled
yeah.
and get the goals. Like you said though, I don't think Canucks particularly had a very good game up until that point. They had they scored on the first shot of the game that they had, just like last game. Great pass from JT Miller to Besser, who has a wide open net. But after that, it was just Nashville pretty much the rest of
Yeah,
the game. It was, but goalie gets pulled. You get those guys out there, and they convert two huge goals and stun Nashville, and yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
a
thought
that's a
they
huge
were
win.
fine in the first period. The second and most of the third, they were not good. They,
No,
they were in spurts, but man, as a team, they just couldn't do anything. Didn't want to shoot on net, but
well, it kind of looked
they
like last game to me. Like I know the Canucks won last game, but like other than they didn't get power plays this time. That was the difference. But like the way they played up until the end of this game, they looked very similar to last game. Like last game, they had
yeah,
12 shots on goal. They didn't do much 5-on-5. Didn't other than that great face-off play. That was a set play that they had on the
yeah,
the first Besser
and
goal.
it was also
Didn't look very good.
poor coverage by Nashville as well on that
Yeah,
first goal.
and
But
on that first goal, I rewatched the overtime winner a few times, and that was some poor coverage by Nashville on the OT
yeah,
winner.
Yep.
Elias
They
Lindholm.
left them wide open.
I was like, how is he wide open? I went back to look at it a few times. And at first I thought it was the defensive coverage, like the defenseman, because they both kind of pinched. They were both behind the net. But that was, Lindholm's a center, so that should be the other center on him.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was nobody near him. It was
Yeah.
there was Forsberg and O'Reilly that were kind of towards the boards, wide open. But huge goal for Vancouver.
They had been pressured for 2.5 periods and then got pressured and then forgot how to defend.
Yeah.
And to me, like the first Besser goal, same thing happened in game one, but except that it was the other way around where the Canucks lost coverage and left the open guy. Same thing this time. They lost coverage. They went two into the middle and they left Besser wide open back door. And they didn't have to defend until the last 2 minutes of the third and the overtime. Just before overtime, I predicted, right? I think Lindholm's going to score the winner in overtime, and pulled the Nostradamus out of my head sometimes, and he got the winner.
Yeah, and it's like kind of like overtime too. They say there's no momentum from game to game, but I definitely felt like the Canucks had momentum going into overtime, right? Like you stunned the crowd, you got those 2 goals. If you're Nashville, you're trying to regroup, but you're probably like, oh man, what just happened? And Vancouver's like, well, we thought we were going to lose, and now we have a chance to win this game. And you got, you're almost playing with house money at that point, and they get it in Nashville zone in overtime, keep it there, and score the goal. I think it was like a minute in. Yeah. So that's a big one. I mean, look, it's 3-1. You can't say a series is over until it's over.
Not over.
But
it's player who was celebrating the win when Sissons hit the post.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, there's a photo of the bench on Nashville. Some of them thought it went in.
Yeah, there's that one guy who had both hands up in the air, like looking like they had won, and he wasn't even watching the play anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's the playoffs, man. Anything can happen. These crazy scenarios.
Archer Silov's coming off the bench to get the win.
Yeah, I mean we haven't even gotten to that. Like that was announced today that DeSmith is facing some kind of injury sustained in Game 3, and they have.
I think it was practice yesterday, or
was it practice?
Morning skate, yeah.
Well, that's when it was. I think, it could have been. That's when it was announced.
Yeah, or that's when anything with practice because he left practice fine yesterday. They talked to him, so it must have been this morning. It wasn't serious enough that he dressed as he could have been the third goalie, but going with Silovs was the right move. Yeah,
I mean you're living in a great world if your top goaltender is out with injury for an extended time, and you got 2 guys coming in that played great. Like Canucks obviously lost 1 game in the series, but even in that game, it's not like the reason was goaltending, right? Like if your third string goalie is coming in and making, I don't know how many saves he made, because the Predators had about almost 30 shots, I believe. I'll have to look at the numbers, but he made some big saves and kept him in it, and just enough for Canucks to find a way back in the game and win in overtime.
Yeah, like we talked about last time, you have to make the save at that time. That's the difference between a number 1 and the backup. Not saying Silovs is a number 1, but he made the save when it counted. There's a 2-on-1 late in the third. He made the save, deflected the shot to the corner, and the Canucks held on from on. Not saying DeSmith wouldn't make the save, but Silovs made the save, and I think he's earned a chance to start Game 5.
So if DeSmith is healthy, you think Silovs would still get the nod for Game 5?
I would go with Silovs. Last year at the World Championships, he carried the team to a bronze medal, and we all know that Latvia is not exactly a hockey powerhouse, and he won MVP of the tournament. So he was in some high pressure situations, and he handled it last year. And I don't have an issue with him getting the call for Game 5.
I think it was on the broadcast on Hockey Night in Canada, or I guess it's not Saturday, but on Sportsnet that So one of the panel members were saying that maybe the fact that the Canucks have had to have these injuries with goalies might have kind of helped them psychologically in a way of like not relying on their goaltender and playing in a kind of different style. Like we see that happen sometimes, when your number one goalie isn't, is injured and not playing, you start to kind of switch up your style in a sense to protect the net more and play differently. And you kind of bear down even more because you're not going to rely on your goaltender as much, even though their goaltending played great even without Demko. So who knows how they play if Demko's in net. So
we did.
I mean,
we said that the other night, saying how you probably play a little looser with the starting goalie, knowing that with Demko back there, you can take more chances, and they've taken very few chances these last 2 games, and it's shown in the shot total. But they've come out of that with 2 wins. Let's go headed back home for Game 5 with a chance to finish off the series.
I mean, it's also crazy to think that, like, we were just in an alternate universe 3 minutes away from having a totally different conversation right now. The conversation would have been, man, it was an awful game for Vancouver. They didn't generate any offense, barely any shots. They're other than JT Miller, none of their, top players really came to show up. And, everything's got to change by that last 3 minutes in overtime. Is there anything, despite the result, anything that you kind of can take away from that first 57 minutes of regulation?
The effort was there. I'm giving that. They were trying. They weren't playing well. Because there's a difference between not trying and playing well.
Yeah.
Well, they were trying. They were trying to do things. They just couldn't. Which got to give credit to Nashville, but also the team as a whole. Just I don't know if it was the 2 p.m. Vancouver time start that really didn't get it going, or that the strategy was to sit back and just take chances whenever you can. But I'm not a huge fan of that. But hey, a win is a win. That's always important. The most important part. It's not you can dangle through the entire team and not score a goal, or you can just get the garbage goals and score and win the game. Either way, they count the same.
Yeah, it's a playoffs. Doesn't matter how you win, whether you win by 5 or 7, or it's a tight game and you win by 1 in overtime. A win's a win, and you have to kind of block out the when you move on to the next game. You got to block out what happened last game and just kind of restart from scratch. But that's a huge win, right? I mean, you're going to go back into Vancouver now with a 3-1 series lead. You have 3 cracks to eliminate the Nashville Predators. On my end, I'm feeling pretty confident that they're going to get it done. Maybe not next game, but they got 3 cracks, and I don't see enough firepower in the Nashville Predators to kind of find a way to block out Vancouver for 3 straight games. Never know, but I don't see it.
To quote Dominic Toretto, you ask any real racer whether you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning. It doesn't matter how you win.
Yeah. No, I mean they have a 3-1 series lead. I mean, that's got to be tough for Nashville. They did on their end. They probably thought we played a pretty good game minus the last few minutes. They just couldn't defend there, and Vancouver, they just zipped the puck around really well. Those quick rims around the boards that they always do on power plays as well. They just move the puck very fast, and that's how you kind of try to spread out, penalty killers, or when you have a man advantage to spread out those players. You're moving the puck as quick as possible, and that really helped them.
And the guy with the best chance.
Yeah, and then you either you get it on net and get traffic and look for a rebound, or you find someone open, and that's kind of what they did in the last 2 goals.
Yeah, that pass by Lindholm to Besser. Ooh. Great find, and great job by Besser to be in that open spot to get himself in that position.
Yeah.
And I think goaltending, despite Vancouver using 3 goalies, I think they've outplayed Nashville in net. The three guys combined have outplayed Saros. Saros hasn't looked outstanding. He hasn't won the mini games. Has he lost the mini games? No. Has he made the save when you needed to? He has not.
No. I was going to say that too, and I was already thinking that before the Canucks came back, and my thought was, when it was 3-1, was if this game holds up and Nashville wins this game, it felt like a missed opportunity for Vancouver because, like you said, Saros isn't playing particularly well. Like he's not playing horrible, but he's not playing like
UC Saros level.
yeah, exactly, like a top level goalie that's going to steal you a game or make a great save. Like they especially when you're only shooting 12 or whatever they had 14 or 17 shots, 16 shots or whatever in this game. Like you're like, yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter now. They got the goals. They win the game and have a 3-1 series lead.
Yeah, he's not fighting the puck, but he's not making that save, and I'm okay with that. Did he have a chance on any of the 3 goals he gave up today? 4 goals? No. He was not the reason they lost.
No, there's no, yeah. I mean, trying to look at all of them. Besser's first goal, empty net. Yeah. The first, or Besser's second goal, another empty net on that right side of that pass across. Yeah. And then the last goal, kind of a scramble rebound. He's, in the middle of the paint. And the overtime winner, it's a guy wide open right in front on a pass from behind the net. Yeah, no chance in all 4.
Yeah. Could he have made those saves? Probably not.
No. Like those are just coverage problems.
Yeah. This epitomizes this Canucks team this year where they're not the greatest, but they got the job done.
Yeah.
Like
they're
this in games 1 and 3, I thought they dictated play, they controlled the play. Tonight was a rare, even all the first 3 games complete. I felt they've controlled play. I think this is the first one where they haven't controlled they dictated play and controlled everything. I
don't know about that. I felt like last game they didn't. I wouldn't say they controlled play last game. You can make an argument for the first 2 for sure, but last game I despite them winning, I still just felt it was a special teams battle, and they just won that one. They had 2 power play goals, and not much else.
Again, Canucks penalty killing didn't give anything up, and power play never really got a chance, but still made the play.
Yeah, and Nashville's power play is just doesn't look dangerous. They're more of a 5-on-5 team. Especially in the regular season too, they were one of the better 5-on-5 teams. But yeah, their their power plays isn't looking good. Vancouver's is looking really good though. They're moving that puck around really well. So they're dangerous when they get a power play.
I wish that sense of urgency they showed in the final 2 minutes in overtime was there for the other 58 minutes. But as of now, I hope they play the whole 60 minutes. It is a 60-minute game, and they haven't played 60 minutes, but hey, up 3-1 and in a series with winning games with your backup and your third string, I'm okay with that.
Oh no, you're gonna like you said, you're gonna take a win any way you can in the playoffs. Doesn't matter how it's done. A W's a W. But yeah, you're never gonna have a game where you're just playing the same way they did in those last few minutes. There's just momentum changes, swings that much. It's how you kind of play consistently throughout a whole entire game through the ups and downs. Probably not a great game, 50-something minutes through, but a great ending.
And their top stars are not fighting with each other, and they're still working together.
Yeah. But I mean, I was going to have this, I guess we can still have this conversation. I mean, we've had it the last couple shows. Pettersson's still not looking very good.
I am tired of hearing about this. I'm just going to, whatever happens with him happens now. I'm going to keep saying, I'm going to die on my sword on this. I think he's injured. There is no way that someone of that caliber goes from all-star caliber player to whatever this is right now. I think he got 2 points tonight. I think, or he got at least he got 1 point.
Maybe towards the end, one of the
on the third goal, he got an assist on that.
Okay, I still didn't think he played particularly well. People were ready to say a lot of, if Canucks didn't pull that out of the bag like they did, there was a lot of hot takes that probably, some fair, some not.
He's got to be injured. When Nashville scored, I think their first, it was after their first goal, and Lozon with the cheap shot on him, and he didn't try to take on the whole Nashville team celebrating there. Yeah, that was smart, but I thought there would have been a little bit more fight off that, and which I think he has to be hurt. He didn't want to aggravate more because he knows going into 1-on-5 there, he was going to get pummeled. But
Yeah. Well, he's not that type of player either, though, right? He's not really a
but he doesn't
guy.
back down. He's not he has shown he's not a person that backs down from a physical confrontation.
Yeah. But they're also the Nashville defense is going hard on Hughes as you can see they're finishing a lot of checks on him. He looks like he might be a little bit banged up, but it's the playoffs, right? Like everyone's going to be a little banged up and have some issues, but you know
he had the wind knocked out of him. But yeah, it's a little bit, probably going back a little bit softer now that he kept getting hit, but he's still playing the way he is.
Yeah, well, because he's so good at being agile and moving his body around and sort of finding the open lane. Like it's like we talked about before. It's hard
to turn He broke Nyquist's ankle on that deke on the tying goal.
Yeah, where Nyquist was trying to get it out.
Hronek hasn't been as good as in the regular season. He hasn't been the same steady self, but
yeah.
I don't know if that's been an issue where he's carrying more of the load now that since Hronek isn't playing as well.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely I don't know. I just find the playoffs is different, right? You get to see more about a player during the playoffs because you can have guys who play amazing during the regular season and are different during the playoffs, and that's not necessarily because they're playing worse in the playoffs. It's just that everyone's giving an extra 20%, 30%, 40%, and being way more physical that you kind of see guys not play as well. So it could always be like an injury type of thing, or it can just be, the competition's harder and you can't be as effective as you once were, right? And there's some guys, there's the opposite, where during the regular season, they, don't have a great regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, they can play that style and they actually thrive in it or better. There's, not that many of those type of players. Yeah, like Zadorov. Like, who would have thought that he'd be playing the way he is right now for Vancouver?
He wasn't great tonight. He wasn't very visible other than a hit or two.
Yeah, I mean, but he's still not like playing bad. He didn't have a bad game.
Yeah, he was just not a difference maker like he's been the previous 3 games. But whatever.
Yeah,
he didn't cost him anything.
Well, I felt like a lot of the team wasn't really a difference maker, other than the flurry to tie the game. I thought JT Miller's kind of been the consistent guy for me. That's sort of kind of been good every game, even if he's not scoring. He's making plays. He's being physical. He's like a guy who feels like he's sort of built for playoffs as well.
Yeah, I think Besser, Miller, and Lindholm have been the 3 best forwards game in, game out.
Yeah. The I guess the Pettersson line with Mikheyev, and they not as good, but.
Yeah, they've been invisible.
Yeah.
This tonight they have. I thought game 3 the effort was there. It was shown, but tonight I didn't see much. 4th line hasn't done anything.
No.
I thought Dakota Joshua outside of game 1 hasn't been.
Yeah, I didn't really notice him too much
until
today.
that final shift play there.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Garland's been there. He could make a couple more plays, but
he's been feisty,
visible,
right?
At least.
Yeah. He's been his feisty self. I mean, that's it's a good sign for Vancouver when you're up 3-1 and you can still point to a couple things like, he can be better. This is that. You're using your 3rd string goalie. Like these are good problems to have when you're up 3-1 in a series. So I think they've got time to get guys going.
Yeah, the curse isn't broken. This team is cursed. It's been a 54-year curse. They're doing everything they can to break it.
Well, and I don't know about you. Maybe there's more trepidation for you, but for me, I think they can take this series. I think it's up 3-1. They're gonna win. I'm not gonna guarantee a win in Game 5. Nashville's probably gonna go as hard as they can, but
there's no surprises with this team anymore. As a day oneer, we've seen it's a roller coaster. We'll celebrate the highs, but we know something's going to happen. Whether
some stuff already has happened, right? You lose your number 1 goalie, and then your backup's injured for a game.
Their star center has just disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah. The thing is, like you're saying, he's maybe an injury. That could well be, but like I always look back to like some certain play, like Draisaitl when he had a high ankle sprain and he played through it. He was, obviously not himself, but he was still effective. He was still putting up points. He was still making plays. So sometimes when you do have an injury, if he does have an injury, you still have to find ways to be effective. But you know what? They're up 3-1. He still has time, right?
Yeah. He's fine defensively. Just offensively, he's turned into a checking line player, and
Yeah.
that's not what they would need him completely to be. Then, especially if they're not going to put a O'Reilly on his line, like that means he should get an easier matchup.
Yeah. Well, he looks a little frustrated too. Like his body language is a little. He looks frustrated. So I don't know.
I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna wait to the end of the season when they say he's been dealing with this injury. Because the last time we saw him play this poorly, he had a wrist injury that was bothering him for months.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when everyone was saying, "No, he's not that good." When he's been hurt, he got healthy. Look what happened last year. He dominated. Beginning of this year, healthy, dominated.
Yeah.
No, I know I'm making excuses for him, but I'm a homer. I will make excuses for him, and he's also shown that when he's healthy, he's the best. He's one of the best players in the league.
Yeah. Well, for me, it just goes back to let's see it with the playoffs, right? Because for me, regular season playoffs are two different things. Yeah, there's players that are great in the regular season that can't.
He's shown he's been a good playoff performer when he played in the bubble. He
played well. Yeah,
he was outstanding that year. So and the only reason he won't be is it has to be an injury. Yeah, they're not ever. The team will never release injuries during the season.
No, of course not. Yeah, especially playoffs, right? Like you're not going to say anything because the other team's going to use that against you.
Demko has a leg injury. It's a lower body injury.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you just if you go look at Toronto, they won't even release what's going on. Nylander finally played. They won't even release what's happening. It's just speculation. But yeah, it's 3-1 series lead for Vancouver. Any other points you have from this game or that you want to bring up? Or
I'll take the smash and grab any day of the week. And twice on Sundays, especially Sunday, April 28th. Just take that win, come back to Vancouver. Or hopefully they can finish it off next game and then rest up and get some injuries healed up.
Yeah, and I believe it's the next game is Tuesday, I believe, right?
I think so.
Yeah, Tuesday 7:00 in Vancouver. Okay. I'm good with everything we talked about. So next game will be Tuesday. Game number 5, 3-1 series lead for Vancouver. Chance to close it out at home and move on to round 2. I'm Rafal. This is Victor. Follow us. Like the YouTube page. Like this video. Subscribe. Yeah. We're also on TikTok and Instagram at Canucks Chatter. And thanks for tuning in until next game.
Go Canucks, go.